Welcome to Alpha Chi's first ever Super Regional Convention. Congratulations on being a part of this 88-year-old honor society, and thanks for joining us here in Little Rock. As you know, Alpha Chi members come from all academic fields, and after they graduate, they go on into all types of careers and roles in society. We're truly an honor society of many talents, with limitless opportunities for accomplishing our motto of making scholarship effective for good. That's one of the reasons we chose as our convention theme, multiple talents, multiple opportunities. The other reason for this theme is that we had several special things we wanted to do here in Little Rock. At first, they seemed to us to be unrelated, but we soon came to see that the variety actually paralleled the diversity in Alpha Chi. We realized that under the theme of multiple talents, multiple opportunities, we could explore some of the avenues of social responsibility that demand the intelligence, creativity, and dedication of people like Alpha Chi members. We've called on some student members to help introduce you to these four special areas.
This image of Little Rock Central High School became familiar around the country and the world in 1957 as a symbol over the crisis of school integration and the broader civil rights movement. Tomorrow, we'll be privileged to hear from Carlotta Walls Lanier, one of the 9 courageous African-American students at the heart of that crisis. And later, we can tour the Visitor Center at the Central High School National Historic Site. Looking back into a troubling period of our national history, we're reminded that social responsibility often requires social activism, and that human rights and human dignity are worth standing up for, even when doing so seems unpopular or perhaps dangerous. Here's a clip from 9 from Little Rock, an Academy Award-winning documentary produced in 1964, 7 years after the Central High crisis.
Where do you begin? Where do you look? Like an ancient battlefield, the ground is silent, though people still move in familiar places. Now on this field, Negro and white run together, remembering not how it was in Little Rock, Arkansas in 1957. Perhaps it is best for those today to look where they are going and not where they have been. But when you're a dark man in a country where the Negro is demanding more and more an equal chance, you have the right to look back to discover if you are really moving forward or if the world is just moving beneath your feet. I have a special reason for looking back. My name is Jefferson Thomas, and I'm one of the 9 from Little Rock. There is nothing strange in seeing 9 American children walking to school on a September morning. But this was a special morning in a special part of America, a place where Negro children had never gone to school with whites before. Hatred is easier to organize than understanding. And there was a minority in our state who found it to their advantage to bring hate to Little Rock in 1957. While we watched, the white children went to school, and we stood outside. We had been taught in school that we were a nation under law, and the law said segregation was wrong. Now we waited to see if our laws had meaning. or were just words in a book or idle talk in a classroom. On September 27, 1957, President Eisenhower sent 1,000 men of the United States Army to carry out the law. The Supreme Court of the United States had said, "The entire strength of the nation may be used to enforce, in any part of the land, the security of all rights entrusted by the Constitution." And that included my rights and the rights of 8 other Negro Americans who wanted to go to Central High School in Little Rock, Arkansas. We were Terrence Roberts, Thelma Mothershed, Elizabeth Eckford, Ernest Green, Carlotta Walls, Melba Patillo, Minnie Jean Brown, and Gloria Ray. And we were going to school again. Obviously, in this town of 100,000, there were many who didn't like what was happening. But as we looked at the soldiers, we knew there must be millions of others who thought we represented something important. When the doors closed behind us that day, it was both an end and a beginning. From that moment on, we would be watched, not only by those who looked at us as strangers, but by those who wondered if we would live up to our new opportunity. I remember standing there wondering how history would judge us.
Civil rights is only one of many social issues that require not only a commitment from individuals, but also the force of public policy. And so politics and government service always play a role in addressing the needs of our country and the world. Our convention in Little Rock gives us the opportunity to look into the political and public policy process by visiting the Clinton Presidential Center. Popularly known as the Clinton Library, the Presidential Center opened in 2004, 4 years after Mr. Clinton completed his second term. Like other presidential centers, it is indeed a library, archiving thousands of official presidential documents. But the public knows the Presidential Center best as a museum of the history of his presidency, with 2 floors of exhibits, including replicas of the Oval Office and the Cabinet Room. Currently, there's also a special temporary exhibit of the brooches worn by former Secretary of State Madeleine Albright. On Friday evening, in the center's Great Hall, we'll have the privilege of hearing from and asking questions of a panel of 3 individuals who worked with the President in the White House. Following that program, we'll have time to visit the museum's exhibit space. Here's more about the Presidential Center.
The modern building that houses the Presidential Center was designed in part to symbolize one of Mr. Clinton's favorite themes of hope, building a bridge to the 21st century, with its upper floors over the banks of the Arkansas River, as if it were the beginning of such a bridge. The structure contains the history of Bill Clinton's presidency as the evidence of ongoing efforts to make the world a safer, healthier, and more prosperous place. Although the center is first and foremost a presidential library for scholars and historians, it is also a museum and place for people to come together to study the issues of today, so that we can meet the challenges of tomorrow. Since its opening, well over 1 million people of all ages have visited the center to see the permanent exhibits and the series of special temporary exhibits. Perhaps the most remarkable special exhibit was the display of the Emancipation Proclamation, which the National Archives made available in Little Rock in 2007 for the 50th anniversary of the Central High Crisis. One of the Little Rock Nine, Minnie Jean Brown Trickey, described her feelings about that occasion.
So imagine what it feels like for a little girl from Little Rock, Arkansas, looking at the Emancipation Proclamation with someone who represented the most powerful office, the President of the United States. So as much as it was poignant and touching, I don't know, it seemed like it put us in a special place in our hearts and minds, that someone was sharing that moment with us, and with President Bill Clinton. It doesn't get any better.
The 2 floors of permanent exhibits tell the inside story of the Clinton presidency, providing a direct connection to history through actual memos and rough drafts, up-close photography, video clips, and countless unique artifacts. The story they tell is one of hard work, long hours, and shared dedication never to lose focus to the work of the American people. Whether you study the exhibits in great detail or just tour the center in an hour or two, you will see the story of building an economy that afforded Americans an extended period of prosperity. You will ponder the challenge of ancient international enmities that continue to threaten the world, and you will take stock in the breathtaking rise of new technologies that give us the ability to respond to future challenges by bringing all nations more closely together into one global community. Some of those technologies are literally built into the Presidential Center, which has won several design awards for environmental sustainability. An important educational component of the Presidential Center complex is the University of Arkansas Clinton School of Public Service. The school offers the country's only Master of Public Service degree and sponsors a public lecture series featuring dozens of noted speakers each year. President Clinton had said this to those visiting the Presidential Library: "If you take a single message from your visit here, I hope it is the same one that motivated the tireless and dedicated people who worked with me through 8 exciting years in Washington. Public service is a noble calling, and doing the people's business is a solemn trust." Since leaving office, Mr. Clinton has continued to work energetically as a private citizen to find solutions for public needs. To advance this mission, the Clinton Foundation works with like-minded organizations and governments around the world to improve lives through several initiatives, including HIV and AIDS care and treatment to underserved populations, fighting global climate change, and developing sustainable economic growth in Africa and Latin America. A project of the foundation called the Clinton Global Initiative serves as a nonpartisan catalyst for action, bringing together a community of leaders to devise and implement innovative solutions to some of the world's most pressing issues. In the U.S., the foundation is working to combat the alarming rise in childhood obesity and is helping to expand economic opportunity by empowering small business owners and entrepreneurs.
If it weren't for his foundation and the library, I don't know where I'd be. I'd probably still be overweight, and I'd still probably be in my comfort zone. I'd just be a shy child. But with the Clinton Foundation and the Alliance for Healthier Generation, I've just been able to step outside my comfort zone, become a healthier individual, and be a role model for others.
Not even just the foundation, but President Clinton himself inspired me. The way he interacts with people all over the world, the way he deals with political dignitaries and people in Africa, people in the Middle East, I just really respect that, and I feel like he has made such a difference in the world. So if he's made that big of a difference in other places totally far away from Little Rock, then I can start here with the little kids.
The Clinton School has been really amazing on helping me focus on what I wanted to do and really realize the impact I can have on my community and myself. I would thank him for that if I saw him in person, which I have a couple times, but it gets him nervous.
I met him when the program first started. I was just excited to be at the school and to, meet him. But now, after seeing him several times and following his work and then evolving myself as a student, I really just say thanks from the bottom of my heart. I appreciate it, and it truly has made me a better person.
This great man coming from Arkansas is just going to make Arkansas a greater state. And I think that library will forever be a place where men and women would come together of all race, creed, and color and learn one basic fundamental thing about this planet and this world of ours, and that is God required that we love one another.
This is mostly the story of what we the people can do when we work together.
I would say thank you for putting the library here.
Thanks for the library.
Thank you again for who you are and what you're doing, and that you still keep at least one foot in Arkansas next to us.
As important as political solutions are, involved citizens have always shown the importance of volunteerism in helping to meet social needs. Opportunities for such volunteer service are unlimited. For this convention, Alpha Chi has decided to promote 2 service projects tied to Little Rock and to reaching out to the nation and the world. One of these is with Heifer International, a world-famous nonprofit agency based in Little Rock with headquarters adjacent to the Presidential Center. We've invited our chapters to raise funds for heifer projects to combat hunger and poverty all over the globe. Here's a glimpse of the heifer story.
Heifer International's mission is to end hunger and poverty around the world. It all started with a single man's vision. Heifer founder Dan West thought, give not a cup, but a cow. Through the gift of livestock and training, Heifer has planted the seeds of hope, one family at a time.
The goal of Heifer is to bring together the community and the family and empower them for a better life.
This simple idea of providing families with a source of food and income rather than short-term relief caught on. "60 years later, the seeds are rooted. The branches have grown and spread. Since 1944, Heifer International has helped millions of people in 125 countries move towards greater self-reliance.
Heifer International offers students a chance to find themselves, to learn how to be a leader in their community.
How does this gift of an animal make a difference? A healthy dairy cow can produce 4 gallons of milk per day. Healthy pigs put protein back into the family diet. And a chicken can lay up to 200 eggs per year. Heifer's work is based on 12 fundamental cornerstones, from sharing and caring to improving the environment. These principles enrich both the family and the community. A key cornerstone is passing on the gift. Recipients share their animal's offspring and the training they receive with others in need. Through passing on the gift, a single donation creates a ripple effect with an ever-widening circle of hope.
Many lives of people have changed. People were so poor and now they have lifted up their lives. They have sent their children to school, built better houses. It's a very good and wonderful time.
Heifer International envisions a world of communities living together in peace and equitably sharing the resources of a healthy planet.
If you'd like to learn more about Heifer International, we know you enjoy visiting Heifer Free Interactive Museum called Heifer Village. You can also take a free tour of the award-winning headquarters building, honored for its many environmentally sensitive features. For our second volunteer outreach, Alpha Chi is again promoting literacy. We're repeating our successful service project at the 2009 National Convention in Indianapolis, where we collected and donated 2,000 children's books. Our partners this year are the National Organization Reading is Fundamental and Arkansas Children's Hospital. But many of our books you brought to Little Rock will be delivered Friday afternoon to the hospital to be given to the library or to the patients. Others will be distributed locally through projects of Reading is Fundamental. The current executive director of the organization is Carol Rasco, who also will lead our political panel discussion at the Clinton Center. On Saturday morning, Ms. Rasco will tell us more about the work of her organization. But here is part of the story.
Reading is Fundamental has devoted itself to a simple but powerful idea. If you give kids access to books, let them choose what they read, and allow them to own those books, something magical occurs. Lifelong readers are born. Each year, RIF brings books, literacy services, and the message of hope to over 5 million children and their families at over 23,000 sites nationwide. RIF brings books and motivational activities to schools, community centers, youth clubs, migrant camps, detention facilities, Head Start programs, hospitals, wherever kids are at risk of slipping behind. For many children, the books they receive from RIF are the only ones they have in their home, the only ones they can truly call their own, the only ones that allow them to know that they can become readers and explore new worlds, the only ones that send a message that reading really can be fun.
We know it has an impact. We hear from parents who tell us that their children are choosing reading as a free time activity more often. We know that we have increased circulation at our library and increased participation in summer reading club programs. We hear from teachers who talk about accelerated reader programs and applaud RIF for providing books. But probably the best testament would come from the children themselves. We had a kindergarten teacher who told us that on the very first day of school, she asked her students to bring books from home to share with the rest of the class. One child brought a book that her brother got from RIF 10 years ago. It was the only book she had. So we know that RIF makes an impact on the children in this community.
RIF has distributed well over 250 million books to children in every corner of America. That's 250 million passports to a better future, 250 million opportunities to discover the joy of reading. RIF does not teach children to read, but it does teach them that reading matters, that the world of books belongs to them too.
Information is power, and we get that power through reading. And it doesn't matter if you're a beginning reader or a veteran reader, an experienced reader. It doesn't make any difference what your background is. Reading is important, and it's fun, and it's something that we should all be involved in throughout our lives.
The message that reading matters needs to be communicated to families also. So RIF works closely with parents and caregivers through programs like Family of Readers, Care to Read, and other special literacy initiatives that build on RIF's long experience in motivating children to read. These programs reflect one of RIF's core beliefs. Children are inspired to be lifelong readers through personal interaction with caring adults. A child's first and best teachers are parents, but the same principle applies to grandparents, child care providers, friends, relatives, anyone who is willing and able to share a few minutes reading with a child or encouraging them to pick up a book.
Anyone who is willing and able. That phrase reminds us of our talents and opportunities as members of Alpha Chi. Our academic success in higher education says that we certainly have the ability to improve our world. This convention program is going to point us to important avenues leading to that better world. Some of us may be called to step courageously to that front of social movement. Some of us may choose paths of public service, using political processes and institutions to work toward a better society. And of course, all of us can participate as responsible citizens by being informed voters. And whatever our careers or roles, we all can join the millions who give their money and volunteer their time and talents for countless good causes, such as literacy and the eradication of poverty and hunger. Multiple talents, this clearly describes Alpha Chi's membership. And multiple opportunities, this is our challenge, our call to fulfill Alpha Chi's goal of making scholarship effective for good. Thank you.